Commander Lisa Evans stared at the main screen of her ship. The strange alien vessel drifted slowly among the asteroids between Mars and Jupiter. Its hull was damaged, with parts of it torn open to the empty coldness of space. "Life signs?" Lisa asked, her eyes never leaving the screen. Jack Miller, her second-in-command, checked the readings again. "Just one, Commander. It's weak but steady." Lisa brushed her short brown hair away from her face. She had been in space for 10 years. But this was different. This was the first confirmed alien ship ever found by humans. "We should report this back to Earth Command first," Jack said, his voice tense. Protocol says we help those in need." Lisa cut him off. "Prepare a boarding team. I'll lead it myself." 20 minutes later, Lisa floated through the torn hull of the alien ship with 4 crew members behind her. Their flashlights cut through the darkness inside the vessel. The air was breathable, but had a sweet, strange smell. "This technology is nothing like ours," said Megan, the team's engineer. She ran her gloved hand over a control panel that seemed to glow from within. "It looks almost alive." They moved deeper into the ship, following the life sign on their scanners. The inside of the vessel was beautiful in a strange way. The walls curved in smooth lines, and lights pulsed gently along pathways in the floor. "Commander," called Sam, pointing ahead. "I think we found the control room." The door was stuck halfway open. Lisa squeezed through first and stopped suddenly when her light fell on the scene inside. Bodies were scattered across the floor. They looked almost human, but with blue skin and strange ridge patterns on their faces. Lisa counted 5 of them, not moving. Their silver blood reflected her flashlight in small pools. Then something moved in the corner. "Over there," Lisa whispered, directing her team toward the movement. A figure huddled against the wall. It was another blue-skinned being, but this one was alive. Female, Lisa thought, noting the softer features and the long silver hair that floated around her head in the low gravity. The alien's eyes opened when Lisa approached. They were like liquid metal, shining and swirling with silver light. A gash ran across her forehead, and silver blood drifted from a wound in her side. When the alien saw Lisa, she tried to move away, fear clear on her face. Then she seemed to notice the patches on Lisa's uniform, the rank markers, and something changed in her expression. With obvious pain, she pushed herself forward and pressed her forehead to the floor in front of Lisa's feet. The team's translator device beeped as it picked up strange sounds from the alien woman. After a few seconds, it spoke in a flat computer voice. "I am Mira, last survivor of the research vessel Luminous Seeker. I beg to serve you, human masters." Lisa crouched down, confused by the alien's behavior. "We're here to help you," she said slowly, making sure the translator could catch her words. "Your ship is damaged. You're hurt." The alien woman looked up, her silver eyes wide with what seemed like surprise. "You do not understand," the translator conveyed. "My people have wronged yours. I am shamed. I offer my service as payment for my life." Jack stepped forward, his hand near his weapon. "Commander, we should take her back to the ship. Earth Command needs to know about this." Lisa nodded slowly, still watching the alien woman. "Nira," she said, testing the name. "We're going to take you somewhere safe, to treat your injuries." The alien woman, Nira, lowered her head again. "I will go where my new masters command." As the medical team lifted Nira onto a stretcher, Lisa noticed a small device clutched in the alien's hand. It looked like some kind of data storage, and the alien woman gripped it tightly even as they moved her. "What happened here?" Lisa asked, gesturing to the dead crew. "Were you attacked?" Nira's silver eyes filled with what could only be tears, though they seemed to shine like mercury. "The truth happened," the translator conveyed, "and my people could not bear it." The boarding team carried Nira back to their ship, the EDS Horizon. As they left, Lisa looked back at the alien vessel one last time. Something big had happened here. something that had made this alien woman so afraid yet so determined. And somehow, Lisa knew that finding this ship would change humanity forever. The medical bay of the EDS Horizon was quiet except for the soft beeping of machines. Dr. Alan Foster moved carefully around the alien woman, checking her vital signs on screens that had been hastily recalibrated for her biology. "Her wounds are healing fast," he told Lisa, who stood nearby watching. "Much faster than a human would. But she refuses to eat or drink unless you're here." Lisa frowned. Since bringing Nira aboard 2 days ago, the alien woman had formed a strange attachment to her. She would speak only to Lisa, look only at Lisa, and seemed to consider herself bound to the commander in some way Lisa didn't understand. "I'll talk to her," Lisa said, stepping closer to the bed. Nira's silver eyes opened immediately. She tried to sit up, to bow her head, but Lisa gently pushed her back down. "You need to rest," Lisa said firmly. "And you need to eat." Nira looked at the food tray beside her bed. "As you command," she said through the translator. She picked up what looked like a piece of fruit and bit into it slowly. Lisa pulled up a chair. "I need you to explain what happened. Why were you in our solar system? What did you mean when you said your people had wronged us?" Nira swallowed hard and looked around the room. "May we speak alone?" Lisa nodded to Dr. Foster, who left the room with a concerned look. Once they were alone, Nira sat up straighter. "6 months ago, by your time measurements, my people declared war on yours." Lisa felt her blood run cold. "War? But we've never even heard of your species." "You would not have. The first strike fleet was destroyed by a space anomaly at the edge of your system, a natural event, but they were not expecting it." Nira's hands twisted in the sheets. "I was part of a research team sent beforehand. We were studying humans, learning your weaknesses before the main invasion." Lisa's hand moved toward her weapon, but Nira continued quickly. "We were wrong about you. All of us. The Vexari Dominion, my people, we control 12 star systems and rule over many species. We thought humans would be easy to conquer. But you were not what we expected. My team gathered data on human society, human biology, human behavior. What we found." Nira's voice broke. "Humans should not be able to do what you do. You live in environments that would kill other species. You survive injuries that would be fatal to us. You create art that affected my crew physically when they studied it." Lisa frowned. "I don't understand." Nira reached for a small device, the one she had been clutching when they found her. "This contains all our research. My crew wanted to destroy it, to hide the truth from the Dominion. They feared what would happen if our leaders learned how formidable humans truly are. And you fought to save this information?" Lisa asked, pieces beginning to fall into place. Nira looked down. "Yes. There was a struggle. I am not a warrior, but I believe the truth must be known. My crew died because of my actions. Why? Why risk your life for this?" Nira's silver eyes met Lisa's brown ones. "Because if the Dominion attacks your world without understanding what humans are capable of, both our peoples will suffer greatly. And because," she hesitated, "because I came to admire your species, your resilience, your adaptability. In my culture, to serve greatness is the highest honor." Lisa sat back, taking in this information. An alien empire they had never heard of had been planning to invade Earth. It seemed impossible, yet here sat the proof. "You'll need to tell this to my superiors," Lisa said finally. "Earth needs to prepare if there's a threat." Nira nodded solemnly. "I will tell them everything. But I wish to serve you, Commander Lisa Evans. In my culture, when one's actions cause death, one must dedicate their life to a worthy purpose as payment." Lisa shook her head. "Humans don't keep servants. We don't own other people." Nira looked confused. "Then what purpose will I serve?" Lisa stood up, her mind racing with the implications of everything she had learned. "For now, you'll help us understand the threat. And maybe you'll help us find a way to prevent a war neither of our peoples needs." As Lisa left the medical bay, she felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. The alien woman's revelations would change everything. For Earth, for humanity, and for Lisa herself. The journey back to Earth would take 3 weeks. During this time, Lisa spent hours each day with Nira, learning about the Vexari Dominion and their interest in humanity. They sat in a small meeting room that Lisa had set up for their talks. The walls displayed star maps and images from Nira's data device, which the ship's computers had finally managed to read. The Dominion includes 12 different species, Nira explained, pointing to colorful images of beings that ranged from almost human-like to completely alien. My people, the Vexari, are the ruling species. We organize all societies by their abilities and technological advancement. Lisa studied the hierarchy chart on the wall. And where did you plan to put humans? Nira's blue face darkened slightly, her version of a blush. At the bottom, she admitted. The council believed humans were primitive and violent, perfect for labor roles. What made you change your mind? Lisa asked. Nira stood and walked to another screen. She pulled up video files showing scenes from Earth, crowded cities, remote villages, scientific laboratories, art museums. We study your broadcasts, your internet, your communications, she said. But we also tested you. Lisa frowned. Tested? How? Nira looked down. The Dominion sent agents to introduce challenges, diseases in remote villages, resource shortages in isolated communities, environmental problems in certain areas. Lisa stood up quickly, anger flashing in her eyes. You deliberately hurt people. As tests. Yes, Nira said simply. I am ashamed now. But then, it was standard procedure before conquering a species. Lisa wanted to walk out, to report this immediately to Earth Command, but she needed to know more. What did these tests show? Nira turned to face her directly. They showed that everything we believed about humans was wrong. When faced with disease, you developed cures faster than our models predicted possible. When resources were limited, you created new ways to share or find alternatives. When faced with environmental challenges, you adapted. She pulled up more images. Humans living in deserts, in Arctic regions, underwater, in space. No Vexari species could survive in even half the environments humans take for granted, Nira said with wonder in her voice. Your bodies seem fragile, but they repair themselves with remarkable speed. Your societies should collapse under pressure, but they become stronger instead. Lisa watched as Nira displayed more evidence, human art that contained emotional depth that had overwhelmed the alien researchers. Human children solving problems that stumped adult Vexari. Humans recovering from injuries that would kill most alien species. The final test was the space anomaly that destroyed our first fleet, Nira said quietly. It was not an accident. The Dominion Council created it as a test of your space defenses. They expected your nearby ships and stations to be destroyed as well. But they weren't, Lisa guessed. No, your ships detected the anomaly, analyzed it, and found safe paths through it within hours. The Vexari vessels couldn't adapt quickly enough. Nira's silver eyes shimmered with emotion. My crew received this data while we were still gathering research. Half believed we should warn the Dominion that humans were far more dangerous than we thought. The others, including our commander, wanted to hide this truth, to maintain the belief that humans were inferior. Lisa began to understand. And you fought to preserve the truth. Nira nodded. The commander tried to delete our findings. I couldn't let that happen. The fight damaged our ship's core systems. I was the only survivor. Lisa sat down again, her mind racing. So your people think humans are weak, but you know differently. Yes, and when the main invasion fleet arrives, they will be unprepared for what they face. Nira placed her blue hand on the table near Lisa's. I betrayed my people because they are wrong. Humans do not deserve to be conquered. And the Vexari do not deserve the terrible losses they will suffer if they try. Lisa looked at the alien woman with new understanding. You're not serving me because you're ashamed. You're trying to save both our species. Nara's face showed a small smile. Perhaps both can be true. The EDS horizon reached Earth orbit on a clear morning. From the viewing window, Nira stared down at the blue and green planet with a mix of fear and wonder on her face. It's beautiful, she said quietly. Even more than our studies showed. Lisa stood beside her, already dressed in her formal uniform for their arrival. What happens now depends on how Earth's leaders respond to you and your information. Nira turned away from the window. Will they punish me for what my people plan to do? I don't know, Lisa answered honestly, but I'll speak for you. You risked everything to warn us. The landing shuttle took them to a military base in Nevada. Armed guards surrounded them as soon as they stepped onto the ground. Nira flinched at the sight of the weapons, but kept her head high. General Frank Cooper met them in a large conference room. His stern face showed no emotion as Lisa explained their discovery and introduced Nira. So, he said when Lisa finished, you expect us to believe that a powerful alien empire was planning to invade Earth, but their advanced scout decided to switch sides because she was impressed by human TV shows and internet videos. Nira stepped forward. Not just media, General. We tested your people directly. The disease outbreak in northern Brazil last year. That was us. The sudden crop failures in Vietnam. Also us. The strange weather patterns in Australia. The Dominion's doing. The room fell silent. One of the scientists checking a tablet computer nodded to the general. Sir, she's right. These events did happen, and we never found clear natural causes. General Cooper's face hardened. You're admitting to biological warfare against Earth. Research, Nira corrected. Standard procedure before conquest. But the results. She looked at Lisa. The results showed that humans are unlike any species we've encountered. Lisa stepped forward again. Sir, Nira has offered complete access to her ship's database. The technical information alone could advance our space program by decades. And give us weapons against these Vexeri? Another officer asked. Yes, Nira said simply. I believe the Dominion is wrong. I will help you defend yourselves. General Cooper studied the alien woman carefully. You'll be taken to a secure facility while we verify your story. Commander Evans will continue as your liaison, but make no mistake, you'll be under guard at all times. Nira bowed her head. I understand. Over the next few weeks, Lisa watched as Nira worked tirelessly with Earth scientists and military experts. The alien woman spent hours explaining Vexeri technology, helping engineers understand concepts that seemed impossible. Her knowledge of space travel, energy systems, and weapons was far beyond human science. Late one night, Lisa found Nira alone in her room at the secure facility, looking at old Earth photographs. You should rest, Lisa told her. Nira pointed to a picture of children playing in a park. In the Dominion, different species rarely mix. Each stays in their assigned level of society. She turned to Lisa. But humans, you have so many different types, all living together. Not always peacefully, Lisa admitted, but still together. Nira set down the photograph. My people believe that service gives life meaning. To serve those stronger or wiser than yourself brings honor. Lisa sat down across from her. Humans see it differently. We value freedom, the right to choose our own path, even if that path has no purpose. Nira asked. Finding your purpose is part of the freedom, Lisa explained. It means more when you choose it yourself. Nira was quiet for a moment. I chose to serve humans. That was my freedom. Lisa smiled slightly. Maybe. Or maybe you chose to do what's right, even when it was difficult. As they sat together in comfortable silence, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Red lights flashed in the hallway. What's happening? Nira asked, jumping to her feet. An officer burst into the room. Commander Evans, long-range sensors have detected multiple objects entering the solar system, exactly where she said they would appear. He looked at Nira with new respect. The alien fleet is here. The next 3 days passed in a blur of activity. The detection of the Vexeri fleet changed everything. Suddenly, Nira wasn't a prisoner or even a guest. She was Earth's most valuable resource. How much time do we have? General Cooper asked during an emergency meeting with world leaders who joined through secure video links. Nira stood at the front of the room, pointing to a display showing the solar system. At their current speed, 4 weeks before they reach Earth orbit. And how many ships? Asked a woman that Lisa recognized as the president. 23 large warships, each carrying smaller attack vessels. Nira said, about 3,000 warriors in total. The room filled with worried voices. Earth had nothing that could match such a force. Can we negotiate? Someone asked. Nira shook her head. The Dominion does not negotiate with species they plan to conquer. Then we fight, General Cooper said firmly. Ms. Nira, you said you would help us defend ourselves. Now is the time. Nira nodded. I will show your engineers how to modify your weapons and ships to counter Vexeri technology. What followed was the greatest unified effort in human history. Countries that had been enemies now worked together against a common threat. Nira spent days without rest, moving from one facility to another, explaining alien concepts to human scientists and engineers. Lisa stayed with her, watching as the alien woman drew diagrams, corrected calculations, and demonstrated principles that human science had not yet discovered. Will it be enough? Lisa asked one night as they looked at the stars from the roof of the research facility. Nira was quiet for a moment. The Vexari expect to find a primitive species with simple weapons. Your modified technology will surprise them. She paused. But they have been conquering worlds for centuries. They will adapt quickly. Lisa noticed dark circles under Nira's silver eyes. You're exhausted. You need to rest. There is no time, Nira said, but her voice was weak. There's always time to take care of yourself, Lisa insisted, guiding the alien woman back inside. You're no good to Earth if you collapse. In her room, Nira sat heavily on the bed. In 2 days, the fleet will be close enough to receive transmissions from Earth. They will expect to hear from their advance team. From my ship. What happens when they don't? They will assume we were destroyed or captured. It will make them more cautious, but they will still come. Nira's shoulders slumped. I have been thinking. There might be another way. Lisa sat beside her. What do you mean? Not all Vexari support conquest. Many researchers like me had doubts about this mission. If I could speak to the fleet, explain what I've learned about humans. Her voice trailed off. You want to try to convince them to turn back. Lisa was surprised. Would they listen? Some might, especially if I show them the data we collected. Nira looked directly at Lisa. It's a small chance, but it could save many lives on both sides. The next morning, Lisa took Nira's idea to General Cooper. The military leader listened with a skeptical expression. So she wants to broadcast a message to her people, he summarized. How do we know she won't warn them about our defenses? You can review the message before it's sent, Lisa argued. Sir, if there's any chance to avoid bloodshed, shouldn't we take it? Cooper was quiet for a long time. The Security Council meets tomorrow. Present your idea there. When they left his office, Nira touched Lisa's arm gently. Thank you for supporting me. Lisa shook her head. I'm just doing what's right. That, Nira said with a small smile, is why humans continue to surprise me. That night, as Earth scientists and engineers worked frantically to prepare for war, Nira began writing her message to the approaching fleet, a last desperate attempt to prevent a conflict that could devastate both their peoples. The Security Council meeting was tense. Leaders from the most powerful countries on Earth gathered in a large room with screens showing the approaching Vexeri fleet. Nira stood before them, her blue skin standing out among the humans. The alien wants to send a message to the enemy fleet, General Cooper explained. Commander Evans believes we should allow it. The room filled with voices, some angry, others curious. "How do we know this isn't a trap?" asked one man in a dark suit. Lisa stepped forward. "Nira has helped us prepare our defenses for weeks. She's given us technology that would have taken us decades to develop on our own." "Maybe that's what they wanted all along," another leader suggested, "to see how we would use their technology." Nira spoke quietly. "If I had not warned you, the fleet would have arrived without any warning. You would have had no time to prepare." The president raised her hand for silence. "What exactly do you propose to tell them?" "Nira." "The truth," Nira replied. "That humans are not what the Dominion believes. That conquest would be costly, perhaps impossible. That there are better ways for our peoples to interact." After hours of debate, the council finally agreed. Nira would be allowed to broadcast her message, but every word would be checked first. Earth's ships would remain on high alert, ready to defend the planet if the message failed. 3 days later, Nira stood in the main communications center of the Nevada facility. Huge satellite dishes outside were pointed toward the distant fleet. Lisa stood beside her, a supportive presence as technicians made final adjustments. "We're ready," said the lead technician. "The message will reach them in about 8 minutes." Nira took a deep breath and nodded. The red light on the camera came on, and she began to speak in her native language, a flowing, musical sound that the translators converted to Earth languages for the watching humans. "I am Nira Valsorin, senior researcher of the Advanced Scout Luminous Seeker," she began formally. "I address the Vexari Dominion fleet with important information. We were wrong about humans." She spoke clearly, with growing confidence as she continued. She explained what her research team had discovered, showing data from their tests and observations. Her silver eyes shone with emotion as she described human resilience, creativity, and adaptability. "The Council believed humans would be simple to conquer and useful as laborers," she continued. "But they cannot be classified within our normal hierarchy. They solve problems that confused our best minds. They survive conditions that would kill our strongest warriors. They create art that moves the spirit in ways we barely understand." Lisa watched as Nira sent images and data files along with her words, evidence to support her claims. The alien woman's face showed both pride and fear as she continued. "I chose to help humans not because I was captured or forced, but because I recognized truth. The Dominion teaches us that order comes through proper hierarchy, that each species has its place. But humans show us another way. They find strength in their differences, in their freedom to choose their own paths." Nira's voice grew stronger. "If you attack Earth, many will die on both sides, and even if you won, you would never truly conquer humans. They would resist in ways our models cannot predict. They would adapt and eventually overcome." She finished with a direct plea. "I asked the fleet commander to observe first. Send representatives to see what I have seen. Learn the truth before beginning a war that will benefit no one." The transmission ended. Nira's shoulders slumped with exhaustion, and Lisa moved quickly to support her. "You did well," Lisa said softly. "Now we wait," Nira replied. For 3 long days, Earth held its breath. The fleet continued to approach, showing no signs of slowing or changing course. Military leaders prepared for the worst, moving ships into defensive positions around the planet. Then, just as hope began to fade, a transmission arrived, addressed directly to Nira. "The Council requires proof. We will send observers. If humans are as you claim, we will reconsider. If you have been deceived or corrupted, the conquest proceeds as planned." 1 month later, a small Vexari ship landed at the Nevada facility. 5 aliens emerged, each from a different species of the Dominion. Their leader was Trell, a tall being with greenish skin and large eyes who looked at the gathered humans with obvious distaste. "We will observe your species for 1 full cycle of your planet around your sun," Trell announced through a translator device, unfiltered and without interference. General Cooper nodded stiffly. "We have nothing to hide." What followed was an extraordinary year. The observers traveled across Earth, watching humans in all aspects of life. They visited crowded cities and remote villages. They observed surgeons performing delicate operations and farmers harvesting crops. They witnessed natural disasters and the relief efforts that followed. Through it all, Nira served as their guide, with Lisa always at her side. The two women had become inseparable, united by their shared purpose of preventing war between their peoples. In a small village in Kenya, the observers watched as a community came together to build a school. Why do they help each other when there is no order from above? Trell asked Nira. Because they choose to, she answered simply. In Tokyo, they observed a surgeon saving a patient that Trell declared would be beyond saving by Dominion standards. Humans do not accept limitations easily, Nira explained. When an earthquake struck Brazil, the observers were stunned by how quickly international aid arrived. These are different countries, often with conflicts between them, one observer noted with confusion. Yet they help each other in crisis. Lisa nodded. We fight sometimes, but we're still one species in the end. As the year neared its end, Lisa found Nira standing alone on a beach, watching the sunset. What do you think they'll decide? Lisa asked, joining her. Nira's silver eyes reflected the orange light. Trell has changed since we arrived. The others too. They came expecting to confirm I was wrong, but every day they see evidence I was right. And if they decide humans are worth leaving alone, will you go back with them? Nira turned to look at Lisa. My place is here now, if Earth will have me. I have no home among the Dominion anymore. On the final day of observation, Trell requested a private meeting with Lisa and Nira, his large eyes seemed troubled. We came expecting to find that researcher Nira had been mentally compromised, he admitted. Instead, we must reconsider everything the Dominion believes about species development. He handed Lisa a small device. The Council extends an invitation for Earth to send its own observers to Dominion space, not as subjects, but as potential allies. After the delegation departed, General Cooper shook Lisa's hand firmly. You two just saved the planet from war, he said, nodding respectfully to Nira. That evening, Lisa found Nira in the observation room, watching the Vexeri ship disappear into the stars. What happens now? Lisa asked. Everything changes, Nira said quietly. The Dominion has never seen a species like humans before. They will study you, learn from you, and perhaps in time, become more like you. And you? Lisa asked. Now that your mission is complete, Nira turned to face her human friend. When I first met you, I begged to serve because I was ashamed and broken. I thought service was the only way to redeem myself. And now I understand what you tried to tell me, Nira said with a small smile. True strength comes not from serving or ruling, but from standing together as equals. Lisa smiled and reached out her hand. Nira took it, her blue fingers intertwining with Lisa's. Earth is establishing a new office for interstellar relations, Lisa said. They need people who understand both human and alien perspectives. I recommended both of us for the job. As they looked out at the stars together, both women knew that this was just the beginning. The story of humans and the Vexari Dominion was only starting to unfold, and they would write the next chapters together as equals.